Good morning, everyone. I am Suzette, the Primitive Stitcher. Welcome to my channel. Today is, what is today? Wednesday, May 31st. And I'm going to give you a little update on weeks 2 and 3 of my Stitch Mania. Before we get started on that, I hope you enjoyed my little clip in the beginning. That is my spring decor. I enjoy gardening and I thought that would be a cute thing for spring. Okay, before we get into stitching, I just thought I would give you guys a little life update. May has truly been a month of mayhem for me, with work wrapping up school on the 25th. We start back for summer school on Monday, so I've had a little bit, I will have a little bit over a week off, but it has been a crazy week. I haven't gotten as much stitching done in this week as I had hoped, but that's okay. There's time for that. My sister-in-law is here in town doing an what is it called? Not inpatient, an inpatient therapy for speech and physical therapy. She suffered a brain tumor about 3-4 years ago, and she's still working very hard to try to regain a good quality of life after that. And so I've been trying to spend as much time with her as I possibly can while she's here. What else? Oh, big news on the home front. An opportunity that I couldn't pass up came along, and I will be moving house starting the 15th of the month. So getting all that settled has taken a lot of time the last couple of weeks, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's an adorable little house, and I can't wait to get in and have fun setting up house. What else? Oh, my middle child, my daughter, is getting ready to leave tomorrow for a month away, so I've been trying to help her prepare for that. I'm gonna miss her, but she's had this great opportunity to go to Maine and do an internship, and I'm excited for her for that. And you know, just life in general, just trying to get your normal everyday things done. It's been crazy, but I have gotten a little bit of stitching done, and I will show you that now. When we last left off, I had shown you week 1, days 1 through 7, so we'll start with day 8 now. And I chose Bless Our Home by Country Cottage Needleworks for this one. And I think last time I had said this was Little House Needleworks, but no, it's Country Cottage Needleworks. This was a gift from my friend Rebecca at Hedgerow Stitching, both here on FlossTube and Instagram. Thank you, Rebecca. I love this piece. I am stitching this on 28 count even weave, and I used Vanna's Bake and Baste method, and I have to say I love that method. I'm going to try it on a lot of other pieces, and I will apologize, my fabric is very wrinkled. I didn't have the time to go through and press my pieces. As a matter of fact, most of them are still on the frame or on the Q-snap or the hoop. So let me show you what I've accomplished on this, which is not a lot. It calls for Classic Colorworks and DMC, and I was able to start on the door. This color is Peanut Brittle, and in comparison to the model stitch, it's very light. And I'm going to see what it looks like after I get the blue of the house around it and decide whether or not I'll keep that in there or switch it out for a darker color. So just a tiny little start on that. but an enjoyable stitch nonetheless. So please forgive me. I am going to try to put these away as I go, because otherwise it's just going to be a huge mess. Okay, on day 9, I chose to do Stacy Nash, Tombstone Angel, and I'm stitching it on 35 count 18th century rook, which is the call for fabric, and it called for Gentle Arts blackboard, but I am using Gentle Arts soot. And I got a fair amount done on this one. I have the wings to fill in. This is stitched 1/2. And this is what it will look like when completed. I've had this one in my stash for quite some time and just keep putting it off. So thankfully Maynia brought this one out, and this is maybe will be done for Halloween this year. Okay, so day 9, that was day 9. Day 10, oh, this is truly, sorry, I dropped something here. Sorry. I promise I am not this awkward in real life. I don't know, it's like the camera comes on and I'm a total mess. Day 10, I pulled out Pattern Pretties by Jeanette Douglas. Again, this is a gift from Rebecca, and I was so excited to start this. First of all, the colors are just absolutely beautiful. The threads are from the Thread Gatherer Silks. I'm stitching it on 32 count linen, and oh my goodness. Okay, let me see if I can remember which was. This was my first start, and I may go back and redo that one. This is all satin stitch, and once you get going on it, it's fairly easy. It's just repetitive, but figuring it out, the start of it, and my first time doing anything with Thread Gatherer, it's kind of like a, how do you, Borgello maybe, but just beautiful colors. Let's see if I can put something behind here. And sorry, please ignore all the threads. But I love that, and I can't wait to continue on with it. Very pretty. So that was day 10, and that's stitched with one piece of silk over many threads as satin stitches. Okay, day 11 is from the Prairie Schooler. I am doing, where are you? This little turkey down here. And I'm stitching it on 18 count Aida using DMC 2/2, and I just kind of hand dyed this very prim looking Aida, and this is how far I got on Mr. Turkey. I should have had this finished, but you know, life. Okay. Day 12. is, where is day 12? Over here. Like I said, most of these are still, it was like by the end of the night, I didn't have the energy to, oh, let me take this. Oh my goodness, okay, I do apologize. I can't get this loose from here. It's called The Potting Shed by Brenda Gervais. I'm stitching this on 40 count sheep straw, 1/2, with the call for threads, Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, and Classic Colors. And let me see if I can show you. I had to move the piece, so I've gotten part of the border done. Not a huge start again, but at least a start. And I'm using my, I don't even know what this is called, but I like mine. I really like this. I just stick it under my leg. I can adjust it up and down, get it as close or far away as I want. It flips up, and I got that when I was in England. If you want more information on that, just let me know below and I can give you the exact name of it. I can't remember at the moment what it's called. So that was day 12. Day 13, dark 13 stitching. And let me move my pattern off of here. I chose to do one by the Primitive Needle called Kindred Spirits. Let me pull it out of the plastic for you. And here we go. I've had this pattern in my stash since, oh my goodness, 2009 maybe, 2010. It is using Belsoise silks, 40 count doubloon, 1/2, and I just had to get my little cat in there. Loving every stitch of this. Cannot wait to get back to this. And I'll show you the colors. It only calls for 3 colors. And these are the 3 colors. So that was day 13. Day 14. Is one by Little House Needleworks called Thread Keeper. And I'm stitching this one on 28 count even weave using the Call for Colorworks, and I'm stitching it 2/2, which you know is not my favorite method. I much prefer 1/2, but here you go on that. A fair start on this one. Again, that's called Thread Keeper by Little House Needleworks. Excuse me one moment. Oh, mug, compliments of my daughter. I will never have to buy another coffee cup again. Okay, day 15 was a revisit to last year's Maynia from Blackbird Designs called Thank You Sarah Tobias, and I'm stitching this one, Flowers for Sarah, Did not get as far on this as I had hoped, but I did have some progress. The last time you saw this, I had, which side finished? I had the middle leaf finished and part of this one. So I finished this, I completed this side, went ahead and finished this side. Oh, and that brings me to something I wanted to share with you. What I've started doing. So that I know from one stitching session to the next of how much I've actually completed in the second stitching session. And I'm just going to show you this briefly. Do you see? Okay, some are in yellow, some are in orange. Okay. The yellow is what I had stitched the first time. The orange is what I completed this time. And that way it's just a quick reference for me. When I pick this up again and I start stitching, I will choose a completely different color. Maybe I'll choose pink to highlight. That way I can, you know, yes, I can visually see on here how far I've gotten, but I can very easily and quickly reference my pattern, my working copy of, oh, I've gotten, you know, quite a bit done, because I can tell in the color change of the highlighter. So there we go, Flowers for Sarah. And that is stitched on what? 32 count platinum, classic color works for the fibers, and 2/2. Day 16 was also one from Stitch Maynia 2016, and it's called Love and Joy. It's out of the 2010 Christmas, Just Cross Stitch Christmas. It's this one here in the middle. Patriotic Samplers is the designer, and I'm stitching this one on 18 count Ada that I just dyed myself. Not a lot finished on this. I had this section done here. I put in the white in for the windows and carried over a little bit of black here. So not a lot more accomplished on this one. Again, this should be a quick, easy stitch. Just not enough hours in the day. Here's a tip also for maybe some new people to stitching. If you have a really light color and a very dark color in your design, especially white, you want to stitch the white first and then stitch the dark color, because if you fill in, like in this case, if I filled in all the black first and then went back and did the white thread is going, as you pull it through the black, it will pick up little tiny fibers off of the black floss and make your white not white anymore. So learned that the hard way years ago, to always stitch the light colors first when you have a huge contrast in colors. So maybe that's old news to some of you, or possibly a good tip for some others. Okay, next day would have is day 17, and this one is out of the 2016 Just Cross Stitch Halloween issue, and it's called Potions, Brews, and Spells. this one here. Let me take my pattern off. I'm stitching this one on a hand-dyed fabric from Vicki Clayton. She sent it along as a free gift on an order that I had, and it did not have a color name to it. And I'm using Gloriana Silk. Aubergine is the color. Oops, sorry. I made another hand. Trying to show you because it's such a dark color. I'm not sure it is showing up. It's a beautiful deep purple, like eggplant. This was really, I didn't want to put this one down, so I'm very anxious to get back to this one. Okay. Get these back in here. Day 18. Oh, this is just such a, this is a pitiful, pathetic start. I'm embarrassed to show this. I can't remember what was happening that day. I didn't have but just a couple of minutes to stitch. This is Patriotic Pop by Julie Stevens, a gift from a FlossTube friend. I'm stitching it on 32 count linen, and this is a quote by John Adams. Part of this is done, this part here is stitched 1/1, and like I said, I'm doing it on 32 count. And then the majority of it's stitched 2/2, but this blue is stitched 1/1, and here is my pitiful tiny start. And I had a question. Oh, and I'm so sorry, it has taken me this long. I tried to go back and find the comment on one of my videos, and I couldn't find it. But I had a question about how do you start your threads when you stitch 1/1, and especially on, you know, 30, 36 or 40 count fabric. And I meant to answer it right away, and I never got to it, so hopefully whoever asked that, you're watching now. What I do is I just start out here. I don't use a waist knot, I just hold the end, and after I have put several stitches in, I will then take this tail, pull it to the back, and run my thread under my stitches. If you're stitching, you know, with one strand over two, you can use the, what's it called? I think Vonna mentioned it in her last video. I can't remember at the moment what it's called. Pin stitch. I have been using the pin stitch for years and years. However, it wasn't until recently that I started using the diagonal pin stitch. And thank you to Abby Bella for pointing that out. I don't know how I missed that over the years, but that is a game changer, the diagonal pin stitch. But when you're only using one strand on and stitching over one, there's no way to use the pin stitch for a start. So again, I just leave a tail after I get several stitches, pull it to the back, and thread it through my stitches on the back. There's my teeny tiny stitches on the back. So I am anxious to get back to this. I just didn't have time that day to get much done. Okay, day 19 is from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, and I've gotten lots of comments that I've enabled a lot of people to purchase this. This is such a quality magazine. Some great prim designers have pieces in here, but the actual quality of the paper that it's on is phenomenal. So this one is out of the 2015 Christmas edition. You guys have seen this probably before by many other people. It is adorable. It's called Santa's Workshop with the Key. It calls for the Gentle Arts wool. I, however, just wanted to use what I had in my stash. So I am using the call for colors, but only, you know, just in the cotton floss and not the wool. So here is my start on this, and I'm just using a scrap of, I don't know, it looks like .32 or 36 count that I hand dyed myself. 1/2 on this one. Yep, it's 36 count. 1/2. I had this great plan to have project bags for all my projects for Maynia, and that didn't happen. All right, so for day Day 20, another project from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, and this one is Spring 2017 issue. And I am stitching the Sarah Ann Cotty Sampler by Kimberly Muir, Willow Hill Samplings. This is what it looks like, the finished one. And it calls for Gentle Arts Sampler threads. I'm stitching it on a hand-dyed fabric by Vicki Clayton. However, it was just a very light hand-dyed fiber by her, and I watched Farm Girl's dyeing tutorial. I had never tried that technique, and I wanted to try it. So I tried it on this one, and if you look, this has a very prim look to it. And I first over dyed this with walnut crystals, I believe, and then I went back and used a gray. So here is my sorry about that. Had to clear some stuff off my phone. So this is my tiny start on Sarah Ann Cotty Sampler by Willow Hill Samplings. Again, this was a day that I didn't have a lot of time to devote to stitching, but I wanted to get a few stitches in. It's using the called for Gentle Arts Sampler threads. Don't even know if you can see that. There you go. But I enjoyed using Michelle's tutorial, and I am anxious to play some more on using that tutorial of dyeing fabric. Okay, so that was, no, I have one more. That was day 20. I'm running out of room. Pardon my reach here. So for day 21, I chose another, oh, whoops. I'm using MPI silks that just fell out. And I am stitching another primitive needle piece. I've had this in my collection for a long time as well. And it's called A and E for Adam and Eve. And I am stitching this on another hand-dyed fiber by Vicki Clayton. Oh, and I apologize for the wrinkly fabric. This, did I say this is 40 count? I'm using 1/2 on 40 count. My goodness. I will get it together eventually. There we go. Sorry, it is super wrinkly. And I'm using the Call for MPI silks. And this is just the grass down at the bottom. And my needle minder is from Sunspot Creations. And shoot, I ordered 3 and she sent a cute free one too, but I had wanted this the first time I saw it and it was out of stock, and she finally got it back in, and I'm like, yes, yes, I jumped on that one. But she did very quick shipping. I would highly recommend purchasing from her. Again, Sunspot Creation on Etsy. So that's my start on that. I enjoyed that. I am anxious to get back to this one. Let me show you. The colors. Beautiful colors. And such a pleasure to stitch with. Oh, and here are 2 more. Speaking of silks, now these are only, I think these are 6 strand. But most silk is 12 strand. Initially, I thought, oh my goodness, silk is so expensive. I will never stitch anything with silk. But a good majority of the silk out there is 12 strands. So when you consider that you're getting, you know, twice as much as you would with, you know, some of the other overdyed fibers, it's really not that more expensive than the overdyed fibers, because you're getting twice as much. That's how I see it anyway. And they're so nice to stitch with. I do have a little bit of haul, a very little bit. Both of these items are items that I wanted initially for the spring market. Well, the first one, I wanted it during spring market. I thought, no, I'll wait. And then I waited too long and I couldn't find it anywhere. It was sold out. But then I did some searching around and I actually got this off of With Thy Needle and Threads personal shop. And it's the little Ort basket. So I ordered it directly from Brenda, and I cannot wait to start that. If you haven't ever seen it up close and personal, I will show you what you get in the kit is the pattern and this little basket. And you can paint this little basket whatever color you want. It comes with the lid, but just to give you kind of a reference of the size of it, you know, it fits on the palm of your hand. So it is tiny. And it's stitched, I believe, on 40 count, 1/1. Can't wait to do that. And then the second piece that I got, I have been looking for this piece for quite some time, and every time I got ready to order it, it was out of stock. And so I just, on 1, 2, 3 stitch, I decided to click that little button of please let me know when it's back in stock. So they sent me an email saying it's back in stock. I went that day, I ordered it, and it is called the Valentine Sampler. Again, another Brenda Gervais piece. But I just thought, I've loved this from the first time that I saw it. I hesitated in buying it, and then like I said, every time I put it in my basket, it would come back, sorry, out of stock. So I got that. No idea when I'll ever start those, but at least I have it now. The other thing I wanted to mention is I had ordered some items a while back from a company called Fiberworks, and they're out of Waverly, Iowa. And I remember that they had very good service, shipped items quickly, were very helpful. And at that time that I was on their website, I went ahead and I signed up for their newsletter. And you can get it via, you know, email, or you can get the hard copy in the mail. And you know, I'm so old-fashioned. I love getting things in the mail, good things in the mail. And I decided to go ahead and sign up for their newsletter and get it, a hard copy sent to me. And so every month or so you get this newsletter, which is little tidbits, you know, in it, what's going on in their shop. And then they also always include, and I won't show it, but a little freebie. And this month's freebie, one of them, is from the Cricket collection called Life is a Beach. And then they have another free one on the inside from DKJ Originals. And I don't know that it has a name on this one, of the name of the design. But it's I'm a Chocoholic. And it's a cute little design. So, you know, it's just a nice little thing. You get a little newsletter every month or so, and I just thought I would share that a lot of the LNSs will send out newsletters if you subscribe. So I think that was all I had to share this month. I will be back to do my final week of Maynia, maybe in a week. Did I mention that I'm behind? I'm probably about 4 days or so behind on that. So I'm going to have to take one day and do some crazy stitching to get caught up, at least to, you know, to get my starts in. And I will also be back. I had several requests a few months ago to show my craft room. I think it was back after I did my tote bag tutorial, and I promised that I would eventually do a craft room tour, and I just haven't managed to, but I will do that before I move. And then of course, once I get all moved into my new place and settled, I'll do a second tour of my craft room. And then, of course, I'll be back tomorrow for a special short video. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So until then, I hope you all are having a great summer and getting lots of stitching time in. And I wish you well, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.